So welcome back to Bok Bok Bouquet. Today here we have a very special guest in the house. We got the mother Bandy Exploited. And Melissa, really good friend. And the homie Franco, what's up, man?
Salud, salud.
No! They're trying to steal our chickens, but we already told them chickens aren't going anywhere. They can eat their eggs, but not our chickens.
Yeah!
Hey guys, so the guys from The Exploited, they're actually gone now. This is a couple days later, but I did want to get them in our intro. I intended to kind of film around, but I was just so in the moment that I forgot to even get any footage. I did get a little bit with my phone, so I'm gonna show it here.
Oh, I got a bunch. Even the dog loves it. Dude. Oh, these are cute. Oh, that was just picking my hand.
Good. You deserved it, Franco.
Oh, they love me.
They see the comb on your guys' head, they think you're their dad, dude.
Got the stepdad and the tío. They love it. Oh, look at the crazy one.
So a lot of you guys still don't know, but I play in a punk rock band myself, and we were honored to be able to perform on the same stage as the band from the UK, The Exploited. Those guys are like living legends to me. Very inspirational and really influential band for my band. So it was great to invite them over to come see our chickens and feed them out of their hands, see our goats. They had a really good time. They visited for a couple hours. But yeah, for the ones of you that don't know, my band is called Broken Cuffs. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, or if you have like an Echo Dot or something like that, you can even just say, Alexa, play music by Broken Cuffs. That probably triggered your Alexa, and I hope it did. But yeah, check us out. And if you guys are wondering what's up with my face, well, I did get into the mosh pit at the Exploited concert because I felt like I was 17 all over again, and I was crowd surfing, got in the mosh pit. I took a fist to the face by I don't even know who, felt it the next morning, and then it's starting to show up real good now. Here. That's my black eye.
I made him ice it.
And yes, Kelly did make me put some ice on it. I didn't really care, but it is what it is. I just got my battle scar right there. But yeah, the guys were over, and it was a blast. But today's video, we're actually going to give you a tour of our own chicken coop here, because some people say, can we see your own coop? This is our second coop here. If you guys don't know, our last one that we built ourselves got infested by ticks. So not chicken mites, but fowl ticks. And no matter what we did, we could not get rid of them. We had to completely demolish that coop.
And it's not a regular tick.
And then Kelly says it's not a regular tick. Here, why don't you come in the video then? She says it's not a regular tick.
It's not a regular tick. The chickens, guinea fowl, nothing will eat it. It acts like a bed bug. It only comes out at night, and it doesn't stay on the bird. It only feeds for a short period and then hides again. So it's essentially like a big mite.
Yeah, so we had to completely demolish that one. We rebuilt one. Since I built chicken coops myself for clients, it was no big deal for me to build one in just a few days. So we're gonna give you the full tour of our small chicken coop. Let's go. All right, guys, so let's walk you through our coop. You can come on up here. This is our second one. Our last coop was a little bit bigger because we were housing more chickens back then, but we have two flocks. This is kind of like our most vulnerable flock, and then we have a big flock in the backyard where they just kind of free range a couple of acres. So some of them, because they were hopping our fence to eat our garden, they got kicked to the back. So we have less chickens now. The second coop that we built is a 3.5 by 6 foot coop. It's intended for a dozen chickens. However, some of our chickens, like you see here, let me see if I can pick one up. They're real small. So we have bantam chickens. So if you can imagine, if you're feeding a dozen hens, but you got some of these, you can pretty much double the amount of chickens that you can fit in something like this. Because they're the size of my fist, or my palm, I should say. It's like a pigeon right here. One Milfleur Duclay. She's a good baby, thank you. But yeah, so some of them are smaller. I like to build my coops with practicality. So yes, I want it to look nice, but I want it to be practical first and foremost. We have their chicken door. This is automatic coop door. We have it set to a timer, but you can open and close it manually, or you can set it to light sensor mode, which will open and close with a sunrise and sunset. Like I said, we have it set to timer. We can link one of these in the description of this video if you want to get one for yourself. It's great because you don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. to let your chickens out. They just come out whenever time you set on it. Practicality for our clean out door. It's a large door up in the front, which swings out like this. And if you can see here, it's got a large wide opening so that when you have to go and clean out your shavings, you're not having to like go on your knees or crawl through a small space. It's very accessible here. You can bring your shovel. In fact, I'm gonna do that right now. Keep rolling. But whenever you want to clean this out, you just come in here with the shovel or stir your shavings. We do hemp shavings here, so we do the deep litter method. So every so often, we just come in here and roll that around so it can compost and it keeps the smells down. And then you can add a little bit more shavings. I'm gonna do that in a little bit. I forgot to put on my mask. Always wear a mask while doing that. But it does have a large wide opening. We have our 2 large roost bars there where most of our chickens sleep. And if you notice, we have this one just on the floor here because we have some handicapped chickens. Some of our frizzles don't really fly too well, so they like to just roost up pretty low to the ground right here. Instead of jumping up there, I built this little one so that they can just roost right there. If you notice here, it's got a lot of ventilation up in the front. We live in Southern California, and this part of where we live, we're in the desert, and the temperatures get to be like 108 degrees in the summer. So ventilation is very important to keeping your chickens alive. So it's got this large window up in the front. It's got another one on the side over there, which I'll show you in a bit. And up at the roof, I got about a 1-inch gap going around the entire thing. So 360 degrees. Heat rises. So I use signs to let the heat rise up and out. Keep your chickens nice and cool. Or even in the winter, if there's too much moisture in your coop, they can develop frostbite on their wattles and their combs could be really dangerous. So you need that ventilation no matter what temperature you're at. We have a detachable ramp here up in the front for the chickens to use, but I like put it on some hooks so that whenever we clean our yard, we can move that completely out of the way. Then we're able to rake our yard out, which it actually needs it now. We should be cleaning this in the next few days here. But it's got a detachable ramp on hooks. You're able to clean around and then just attach that again. And then every now and then you can rinse this off because if you notice, this used to be nice and ultra white, but you know, chickens are chickens and they dirty it up. So we can take the hose, give that a good rinse whenever we want without having to wash the whole coop. Over here on the side, we got the nesting boxes, and I like to put my lid up at the top, and it's got this little hook right here to help you keep the nest box lid opened while you're collecting your eggs. There's somebody laying right now. There's another Mille Fleur du Clay. They're one of our Bantam breeds. We're bothering her as she's trying to lay an egg. But I like to do my nesting box lid up at the top. A lot of people say that you should do it up in the front so that you don't frighten the chickens when you open this up, but I've never had that happen ever before. So if you like your nest box lid to open in the front, that's great and all. I just like to do mine at the top like this because it's practical again. I've never had one get frightened when I open it. Even earlier today, I opened it up just to see, and there was, I think her sister was laying over here. They just don't get scared at all, guys. The nesting boxes are wide enough. There's 3, and that's plenty because all chickens lay at different times of the day. They don't all lay at the same time, and some lay at 8 in the morning, some at noon, some at 2 p.m. And not just that, but chickens are very funny and silly in the sense that they have their favorite nesting box. So even though there's 3, sometimes there's 2 in one box, even though there's 2 other nesting boxes available. They're just silly. They don't like to spread out. They just like their box. Or if there's somebody in their favorite, there'll be a chicken right outside of it just talking and talking because she wants to lay in that particular nest box, even though there's 2 other ones available. But it has happened where all 3 are taken at the same time, but that's not very common for us anyway. But the nesting boxes are large enough. We use the nesting pads from myfavoritechicken.com. And in fact, we should probably just change those out right now because we did order some new ones. So let's do that right now. We're gonna switch it over to Kelly. So these are the cool nesting pads that we get from myfavoritechicken.com. It makes cleaning so much easier when you gotta replace their nesting box, like shavings, if you use shavings or whatever. We like to use these pads. And you're gonna see how much easier this is because it is all connected to a pad at the bottom. You just pick up, just pick them up like that. You can dispose of them, grab the new one, and let's do one at a time here. And they go right into your nesting box just like that. Super, super, super easy. It's a life changer. We're gonna leave the link to these in the description below as well, but they are from myfavoritechicken.com. That's where we buy our hemp shavings. That is inside of our coop there as well. And then this sign right here actually was on our previous coop. When I demolished it, I originally threw it out with the coop, but then Kelly goes, we really, really need that again. So I think she bought a second one. Didn't you buy another one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure. I thought I was dreaming that, but I did throw it away, but she was able to find the same sign somewhere online. I think she bought it on eBay again. The first one we bought from a local store, but then she was able to find the same sign because she said that really was special to us, to our coop. So the new coop ended up with that same sign again. And if you guys are wondering why there's some sort of cage in here, well, we have some chickens that are trying to be really, really broody. And it's hot out right now, so we don't want them hatching any chicks at the moment. So our little trick is to put them in a chick brooder like this to kind of snap them out of their hypnosis or something that they want to hatch chicks. So we'll put them in here for a few days. After a few days, they snap out of it, we release them, and they're no longer brooding anymore. Our chicken coop here houses all of our hens safely, gives them a place to lay their eggs. The fact that it's raised up above the ground doesn't rob them of any floor space because they can still come under here and dust bathe, hang out under there. It's 2 feet above the ground, so there's plenty of room. They're not squeezing through anything. On a rainy day, they like to go under there for shelter. And our chicken coop is able to fit in one of these runs that we use. We bought this run from Amazon. It's a 9x18 footer. Super, super duper easy to put together. We did buy some shade cloth for it here because it comes with a little tarp that's only, as big as the coop, but we wanted to tarp the whole thing. But then tarps are really loud also, so we did the shade cloth because it's quiet. It's 90% proof, UV proof shade cloth. So this keeps our chicken run nice and cool in the summer, gives them shade. And occasionally when we do get a rainstorm here in California, which isn't often, we do like to set up our big, thick plastic tarp to keep our chickens protected from the rain. But for the most part, they just got shade cloth. And what do you got there?
I got some
Hemp shavings?
hemp bedding, and we're just gonna top off our deep litter method.
All right. I was gonna do that, but if you're on it, then
No,
cool.
you can do
No,
it.
go for it. I shouldn't have said nothing. Go for it. Fine, I'll help. I was gonna do that anyway, but hey.
I'm not feeling good today.
I almost thought she was volunteering to do it, so I said, be my guest. No, but I'll help her out. I'll do it. All right, so now that we got the mask on, we're just gonna give this a little stir so that the poop ends up, breaking down here with the hemp shavings before we add a new layer. Like I said, because we do the deep litter method, I did install this lip right here, which is a board, so that we're able to do it as deep as 8 inches if we wanted to, because if you see there, that's only a 2x4, so we would only be able to have shavings that's 2 inches deep. But we add this right here when it's all empty, and it prevents all the shavings from spilling out when you open this door. Add some shavings here, just nice and fresh. We're gonna go ahead and add some new shavings here. This is hemp, and actually I'm gonna just kind of dump it in here, and then I'll use my little rake to spread it out. Just like this, and then some of the chickens are already being really nosy over here, wondering what we're doing. This is their house after all. Big fans of this hemp shaving. We've made a video before on the comparison between pine shavings and the hemp. Once we started using hemp, we'll never go back to it because like you see here, it's about that deep now. We haven't cleaned it out in a month or two, and there's essentially no smell to it. If you've used pine shavings before, you notice that you clean it out and after a week, it smells horrendous and you can barely even open the door. But with these hemp shavings, it's practically odorless. I'm not smelling any of the poop. If anything, I'm smelling the little herbs that hemp shaving comes with, the little flowers and herbs. I can kind of smell that even through my mask, but as far as the feces that are in there and the pee, essentially not even there. Also with this new chicken coop, in order to prevent the ticks like we had, I did go ahead and I did some caulking on every single corner you see here in the coop. And that's because a lot of these ticks were just kind of living and reproducing in all those little cracks. So I went ahead and caulked it to try and prevent them from breeding in all those little tight spaces. Something you don't have to do, but I thought this would be kind of like a preventative and a smart idea to try. And then the last piece is for our water. I do attach this one hook to the 2x4 that's under here, a stud. So it's nice and strong, and then that's able to hold the chicken water up there. This is a 3-gallon waterer. I don't know if it would fit a 5-gallon because it's only 2 feet above the ground, this coop. So the 3-gallon works out great. And it's just a hook. I just pre-drill the hole, screw that in there. Works like a charm. That's just to keep the water a little bit cleaner because these guys like to dust bathe and scratch dirt around. The ducks like to grab dirt and throw it in there. So the fact that it's elevated just kind of keeps it a little bit cleaner. Hope you guys enjoyed this video this week. I always love coming out here and spending some time with my girls and my boys. Freckles is out there somewhere in Ron. We got 2 roosters here in this little flock. But I like coming out here. They put a smile on my face. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. But that is our coop. That's the same kind that I sell. So ours isn't any fancier than the ones I sell to people. But we're located in Southern California. If you're looking for a new chicken coop, I can make them in different sizes and shapes. So feel free to email us. Our email will be in the description of this video as well. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.